Test 1, 2, 3, 3, 2, 1. Looking at last man standing, a Codewars exercise that'll be done in Python today. Well, what's up, folks? Yep, I'm back. This one says, find the last number between 1 and n inclusive that survives the elimination process. Now, what's the elimination process? This is how it works. Start with the first number on the left, then remove every other number, moving to the right until you reach the end. Then, from the numbers remaining, start with the first number on the right and remove every other number, moving left. Repeat the process, alternating between left and right until only one number remains, which you return as the last man standing. So, how it works is we're given a number n and we make a consecutive sequence between 1 and n inclusive, and then there's an elimination process. And here's how it looks down here, where you start with this sequence. In this case, we're given n equals 9. So we generate 1 through 9 sequence. And then we start the process of elimination, which is what this is all about. We start on the left side and remove every other. So of course, it began as 1 through 9. So we remove 1 starting at the left, and then every other, which are really all the odds, every other. So these are all done. So then after that first pass, we have 2, 4, 6, 8. And then the next directive is to start from the right side over here and do every other removing. So we would remove 8 and 4. And that's what this step is doing. So we're left with the 2 and the 6. Then you go from the left again, and starting with the first one, you remove every other. There's only 2 left, so you remove the 2, and then you're left with the 6. You do this process left and right until there is only 1 left. That 1 left is the last man standing. And there we go. That's the process, folks. And a few directives in there, but you got the gist of the idea. So I'm going to launch in here and show you the code. Here we go with this. First I'm going to generate my sequence. So it says you're going to be given an n, and you make a sequence from 1 to n with all the numbers in between, and it'll be inclusive. Because it's inclusive, I'm doing n plus 1, because you gotta, in Python ranges, to be inclusive of n, you gotta do the plus 1. I think you all know that already. And here for the rest of the code, I'm going to copy in what I've got already. Save a little time here. And here we go. Where, of course, this is going to be a looping process, because as the instructions state, we're going left to right, removing every other, then going right to left, removing every other, and then doing that over and over again until you're left with 1. So I'm using a while loop to cover that, and I'm actually doing an infinite loop, which is not the greatest practice, but I'm confident that there's always going to be 1 number left eventually. So I went ahead and did this one, but you can probably figure out a better way to do it. But this works for me. So inside the body, what I do is, this is the procedure going from left to right of removal, where I use list comprehension on the list that I already have, and what I do is I loop, and obviously you loop, it's list comprehension, but what I do is I start at index 1, which is the second index, and I go into the end of the list and I do a step of 2. What I'm doing here is I'm looping and grabbing every element that I need to include, not including the ones that I'm eliminating. That's what's happening here. So I'm looping only on the indexes that I want to include for this pass, and that's what I'm appending to my new list. So num list I, it's only going to be the ones that I want to include. So it's kind of a clever way to eliminate every other going from left to right. You just include the other ones that you want to include, and you just omit the ones that you don't. And then after that left to right, I have a conditional here that says, if after the removal there's only one left in the list, I'm going to return that one. And then next down here, I do a similar process, but this one is right to left. And as we know, right to left is going, in terms of I guess sequential data structures, it's going backwards, right to left, as we see. So looking at the range here, I'm starting at index -2. My stopping point is -1, which is really 0, which is the beginning of the list. And then -2 is my step. Really, that means every other going in the negative direction, going backwards. So that's how I'm doing it. And this notation is going to allow me to also get only the ones that I want going right to left, because the directive is to omit every other element starting with the first element going right to left. Well, I'm kind of including the opposite of that. I'm including every other element starting with the second to last, and then going right to left. So I do that, and I'm putting it back into my same num list variable. And yeah, once that's done, I'm going to have the next pass done, and the ones that I want to include, and the ones I don't want eliminated, of course, eliminated. The thing with this pass, though, when you go right to left, you're creating your elements in reverse. So because I'm going backwards, I'm building a list that is the reverse of the original. So I want to go ahead and reverse it so that it's back to the normal sequence. And I'm doing that because if I need to loop around again, I want my num list in the original order. Even though elements have been removed, keeping the original order is important in this solution. But if I'm not looping around, I check, or actually before I loop around, I check this conditional right here. And this conditional says, just like the one up here, if after the right to left pass, if num list is 1, meaning if there's only one thing in there, I'm going to return it, because that's the end. So these two conditionals, these are my breaking conditions. These are the conditions that are going to allow me to get out of the loop. So it's not a truly endless loop, of course. I'm going to be able to get out of it. So that's what it is, folks. Whenever I'm left with one element after one of these left to right or right to left passes, I'm going to return that one element, and that will be the end. So there we go. And with that, I'm going to try to run this. And that works. Good stuff, good stuff. All right, folks. This one is Last Man Standing, Python exercise done in Codewars. And show you the code once again, the beautiful, beautiful code. That's it for me, and that's it for you. And with that, I am out.